Well, welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, Crypto and Chill. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto. With me, as always, is Jeff, also known as the Blockchain Report. How's it going, brother?
Doing good, doing great. I had a busy day doing a lot of things for my channel and updating my resume. So my eyes are a little crossed from staring at the screen all day, but tried to spend some time away doing laundry and other things around the apartment. But yeah, really nice Friday and one of my homies' birthdays. So after the show, I'm going over to celebrate with him and some friends. So yeah. How about yourself? How's the
Oh,
weather up there? Still snowed in?
oh no, it's melted off a little bit. I've actually just been messing. Now that we got the stream yard going on, I been trying to figure out how to use that. So our apologies if things don't go as smoothly as they usually do. Still trying to figure out how to use the new software, and also want to apologize ahead of time. We might go a little bit over. There's just so much alpha that we were able to find that I don't think we're going to be able to get to it all. We will definitely do our best. But yeah, there is a lot to comb through with. Basically, I just had an epiphany today while I was watching the morning shows and just thought that everybody does, episodes on kind of the macro and on individual projects, but not a whole lot of people are doing shows on topics like, RWAs and DeFi and the network that's being created using all the multiple different blockchains and different protocols, and just the way that it's being built out, the infrastructure that's turning into the new financial system. So I thought that would be a great one that we could just pour a drink, sit back and chill, and we can just kind of bounce ideas. Some of it's going to be fact, and at the end we can bring up the questions and we can just kind of all riff and just be like, hey, what about this? And this person's working with this person, what do you think about that? So anyway, do you want to, let me see if I can get the arena working. It wasn't working.
Yeah, it looked like it. Oh yeah. Yeah, you get that. I'll pop this on. And
yeah, go ahead and introduce the socials and everything. And
I'm gonna add this to the stage. There we go. Nice. Now I am the captain. We appreciate all of you for joining us here on this wonderful Friday, Crypto and Chill at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, where me and Mike go live every Tuesday and Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Mike also goes live on Mondays for Money Talks at 10 a.m. On Wednesdays with the DeFi Masterclass with David and Jake at 2 p.m. Pacific. He does interviews on Thursdays and has a DeFi Academy, all the great alpha for DeFi and crypto and airdrops here in one place. And you can find our brother channels here at the Blockchain Report, Jake Call, Blockchain Basement, Discover Crypto, and David's DeFi University. Also, great resources. Let me pull these up. Metrics Finance, David's DeFi University, and Mike's DeFi Wize. All of these are incredible tools for your DeFi journey. Metrics Finance offers portfolio simulation and tracking. It is free to start, and they do have paid memberships for more advanced features if you're so inclined to be in the market for that. Also, David's DeFi University is $97 a month. I believe it's free to start, or they have like a free option.
There's some free stuff in there.
Yeah, the paid, you get live mentorship Monday through Friday and a whole mastery course as well with great members in the community. And Mike's DeFi Wize newsletter, crushing it with the signals and stuff in there. So they've been getting a lot of good feedback. And also check out our Discord too. Mike's doing some special offers once in a while for the newsletter and stuff. So providing some alpha sometimes. So you don't want to miss it. And we also have a great community. It's all free. Discord's free, and the people in there are amazing, sharing their alpha and pools and news. There's just a lot of stuff because we can't be everywhere at once. So it takes a whole tribe to get this thing going. And oh yeah, we appreciate you, Nick Dunn. Glad you like the Friday streams. They are fun. And for those of you on Twitter, jump over to YouTube, follow us in the chat, or engage with us in the chat, because there's a lot more action there. We're on Twitter at _only_DCA. You can catch Mike at Veteran4Crypto, me at the BCR142. We are streaming on pump.fun and on the Arena, but right now I guess we're using a new streaming software. So I think the Arena, it was streaming, but looks like it ended. But yeah, we'll get that up and going. And yeah, don't forget to like, follow, share this out, subscribe. You know, we don't really get paid for this, so we just want you to share this out. So spread the good word of DeFi, crypto, and airdrops with everyone, and we can spread the love and get a good community. What's up, Black Ice? Welcome, welcome. Everyone grab a drink, smoke it if you got it, and let's try this for some fun.
I'm going to try this one last time to get it going on the Arena.
Just try the tip. Just the tip.
Just for a minute. Just going to put the tip in just to see how it feels. All right. I don't know if it's working, but it's on there. All right.
I see it right here.
So we are going to talk about, to get this kicked off, I got some notes here. So basically what I did is looked at all of the major players when it comes to DeFi and RWAs. So let me share my screen real quick. All right. Let me
take mine off.
Share my screen. Again, this is all a little bit new, so we'll bear with me. All right. So built out this little spreadsheet here, and down one side I have, Ethereum based network, Optimism, Arbitrum, Solana, Plume, Polygon, Avalanche, Canton Network, and a couple other ones. And basically what I'm doing is, and then across the top are the same ones. And so it's kind of like a correlation chart. And what I'm doing with it is I went through and I figured out what projects, how they are connecting to each other, either via protocols, via Chainlink, via wormhole, interoperability platforms, or projects. So I want to start to map out, and I think I might do that here in the future, figure out some sort of visual to where, maybe like a bubble maps type thing, where we can start to look at how all of this infrastructure is being built out, because it's not just going to be Base where DeFi and RWAs is. It's not just going to be Solana. It's not just going to be EVM compatible chains. There's going to be a lot of different chains out there that offer different functionality that different institutions are going to like. Almost all of them are going to have things like regulatory compliance, KYC, anti-money laundering, AML. A lot of those types of things are just going to be universal, because without that, they're not in compliance and they're not going to be able to be a part of the financial system. So that being said, I will start out with Base and Ethereum. So I think we all understand, anybody that's been in crypto more than a couple of days understands that Base is a layer 2 on Ethereum. So they're already fully interoperable. It's the key to Base is that it is a lot cheaper to use. I know fees have gotten a lot cheaper on Ethereum, but Base just seems to work so much smoother. and the fees are so much cheaper. I mean, what's your experience with that, Jeff?
Oh, 100%. I even saw, I mean, that's what layer twos were designed to do. And I actually did some transactions on ETH mainnet earlier today for a video that I was making. And oh, dude, that stuff is good. That stuff is excellent.
Yeah, that's my jam.
And granted, I mean, they were still like 30 cents, 50 cents for a transaction, but compared to 2021, 2022, Ethereum mainnet fees have dropped a lot, but layer twos are crushing it. And Base has been really good about improving the protocol and lowering gas fees, and you're fractions of a penny. So it's hard to beat.
I mean, today I was doing a bunch and it was like 0.001 cents whenever I was, messing with my DeFi, pools and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I moved pretty much everything over to Aerodrome just in case there's some sort of airdrop for Base. I want all my liquidity there. Plus every single one of my pools is earning me Aero. So I'm actually, I figured it out between my locks and what I have on, in my liquidity pools. I'm earning about 1,000 Aero a month just off of my, my Aerodrome plays. So I'm making 12,000 Aero a year in free crypto, and of course, as the year goes on and that compounds, I'm going to be making more and more and more. But as of right now, I'm making, 1,000 free Aero a month. So I was talking to some of the guys in the Discord yesterday, and I was like, hey, if Aero ever gets to freaking $10, all these 1,000 Aero months that I have are going to be $10,000 months. If Aero ever gets to $10. So I'm just like, I mean, I might be way too bullish on Aero, but we're going to get into why, amongst other things. All right. So next out the gate, we got Optimism. So Optimism and Base. So Optimism and Base have been connected for a while. The super chain for cross L2 DeFi is like Velodrome. Velodrome was built on that, and Aerodrome and Velodrome are about to merge in of 2026. So there's going to be a whole new Aerodrome platform that's going to have a bunch more offerings when it comes to DeFi and RWAs, institutional assets, tokenized assets. There potentially is going to be not perpetuals, but what was that? Actually, you know what? Let's jump over to this real quick, because this is going to frame the conversation. We'll dive deeper here in a second. Sorry, I'm gonna switch gears a bit. So this is Brian Armstrong, the founder and CEO of Coinbase. Exciting to see more banks embrace crypto like this. PNC private bank clients can now buy, sell, and hold Bitcoin in their existing accounts. PNC is the first major U.S. bank to support this type of offering. So basically, PNC is leveraging Coinbase, the Coinbase platform, to offer this service. So Coinbase crypto as a service, kind of like software as a service, crypto as a service platform.
SaaS.
Yeah. So it's a CAS. Is now powering PNC Bank's launch of direct Bitcoin trading for PNC private bank clients, the first to market with such an offering among major U.S. banks. This is the future financial system. We're watching it. I mean, a lot of it over the past couple of weeks. And it's a lot of it has to do with that stablecoin legislation that got passed, because stablecoins is the foundation of DeFi and of RWAs. Really for crypto. Other than just buying Bitcoin and cold storing it, to be able to allow crypto to function in the new financial system, there has to be a digital version of the US dollar and the British pound and the euro and the yuan and the won and the Mexican peso, and these fiat currencies are all going to have a digital representation of their currency to be able to be a part of the digital financial system. It's just, it's the way that it has to be. It has to be able to communicate on chain to, be for that ledger to operate. So if I send, Jeff USDC, then when I send it on chain, like on the base network, it is a digital ledger. It's going to record that from my wallet, this much USDC was sent to his wallet. You can't do that with even the digital dollar that we are currently using in our banking system because it's not on chain. So that is why I think a lot of this stuff has been ramping up, is now that this legislation is starting to get laid out and all these different regulatory bodies are starting to get dialed in on it. And we'll see with some of this news that they are starting to approve this sort of thing, because it's one thing to have the legislation. It's another thing for banks to apply to be able to do these sorts of things with the CFTC and the SEC. They have to have regulatory approval and oversight to actually do it. So legislation is just one piece of it. The actual rollout of it is the next. You got this. This is the kind of stuff, the reason I'm so bullish on Base Network and Coinbase. If you're building in crypto and want to ship faster, check out Coinbase Dev. We have the infrastructure for payments, trading, wallets, stable coins, and more that you can plug straight into your products. So you probably know, I forget what this is called. What are these like software packages would it be considered a DApp? There's a name for it.
Well, the dApps are just like decentralized applications, whatever the application is, but on the blockchain.
It's a dev tool, like a word that anyway.
It's software developer kit or SDK.
Yeah, SDK. That's it. Yeah. So basically what these are is pre-made, like it has everything that you need dialed in, and it's for the most part plug and play. So like say that, me and Jeff wanted to, start a DEX and we wanted to have it on Base Network. They would have a lot of it already done. We would probably need to come up with a UI and, all that kind of stuff, a user interface. But as far as the back end integrations, a lot of this stuff is already built out. So it just allows people to, come to market. A lot of these different projects that are building, it allows them to come to market a lot easier and have tools pre-built. So anyway, it's kind of nerdy, but it's that kind of thing that is going to draw people to use Base Network. The fact that it's
the Li-Fi, the project that you were asking about in the Discord, that has their ICO or something. So they have SDKs for bridging and swapping. A project called Jumper Exchange that I've used for years now. They integrate Li-Fi's, SDK and API into their exchange for bridging and swapping to different chains. And, I just saw that yesterday they announced their 26 million in funding on top of what they've raised, like another 30 million before. So yeah, it's stuff like that where it's like, building the rails for these exchanges and dexes and stuff. So yeah, widgets, API, SDKs, essentially building out the rails for
Exactly. And then we got JP Morgan arranged on-chain debt issuance for Galaxy on Solana, supported by Coinbase's crypto as a service platform. Those of you that don't know, yesterday, day before, Solana is basically integrated with Base Network. We'll get into that more here in a second, but Coinbase Institutional. Oh, I'm not following them. There we go. Wall Street is putting the blockchain to work in capital markets. Today, JP Morgan arranged a U.S. commercial paper issuance for Galaxy HQ on Solana, one of the first debt securities issued on a public blockchain in the U.S. with tokenization, USDC rails, and custody powered by Coinbase's crypto as a service platform. Again, this is Solana and JP Morgan. They are using Coinbase as their conduit for these tokenized, bringing tokenized securities on chain. You have Solana that is integrated with Aerodrome now. There's Solana pools that are now on Aerodrome, and any Solana token can now create pools on Aerodrome. So basically, if you are a Sol Bull or a base Aerodrome, whatever, everything that you could want is now on Aerodrome when it comes to liquidity pools and stuff. When the new platform launches, next year, we'll see what, everything looks like, but we already did a deep dive on this. There's 10 different, and I don't think Solana was mentioned when we did that because, this wasn't announced yet, but there's 10 other chains that are going to be on Aerodrome. Because those of you that don't know, Aerodrome is just base network right now. There's no other chains that are on it. And already it's giving Uniswap and other DEXs run for their money when it comes to volume and TVL and things like that. Now, add to that multi-chain. Well, add to that it's being integrated with Coinbase and everything that Coinbase is doing and the Base app and all these different things. Aerodrome is going to be a beast. And I don't see anyone being able to compete with it simply because of its relationship to Coinbase. And Coinbase is quickly becoming the conduit for retail to get into this new digital financial system. We just got done going over, JP Morgan, with their deal. What was some of the other ones? The PNC, PNC Bank. You have the Ethereum and Bitcoin loans that is being offered, leveraging Morpho. What else we got? Brian Armstrong, again, just wrapped up a great UAE trip, including an Abu Dhabi Finance Week. The UAE is all in on crypto. It's become the second crypto capital of the world, along with the US. Super energizing to spend time there, as they are techno optimists and believe in economic freedom. Tune into our system update product event next week for more. And I think it's already been kind of leaked on the 17th, what Coinbase is planning on launching, but we'll keep trucking along here. Do you have anything to add to that, Jeff?
Yeah, Joseph, keep it real quick. Deadwood, what's up? Better try again. Welcome. And Joseph, are the fees rewarded in Sol or Arrow? I think that depends on the pool, right?
Well, it depends on how you do it. So if you enter liquidity pool on Aerodrome currently, this could change with the new platform, but currently you can choose, once you're in the pool, you can choose to leave it unstaked, like your deposit, you're still earning, but if you leave it unstaked, you earn 10% less because that goes to VE Arrow holders as a fee for the swaps and whatever else for providing that payout for you, or you can stake it and get paid out in Arrow and get the full amount. So it kind of incentivizes you to stake it, because you get that extra 10% and get paid in Arrow. So yeah, I mean, basically you can do exactly like you do on Uniswap, get paid out in the native assets. So if it's like a Sol USDT pair or USDC pair, then you can get paid out in USDC and Sol, but you get 10% less, or you can get paid out in Arrow. I hope that answers your question. All right. Canton Network. One of the clearest explanations of Canton's architecture has been published by Blockdaemon HQ. I'll follow them too. So 3 key takeaways. Network of networks plus atomic settlement privacy-first execution and encrypted workflows, multi-tenant party IDs for institutional scale. So basically, in a nutshell, what this means is this is everything that institutions want to see, because they don't want everything that happens on chain to be visible to their competitors or to the public. As far as they're concerned, it's none of anybody's business, what their clients are, how their clients are moving their money. I don't necessarily want everybody to see, what I'm doing with my money. Like if you're buying Bitcoin and people have your wallet address, they know what you're doing. They can see, what you're buying and selling and where you're sending it. And, it's all on chain. That's one of the great things. And I think is going to come to an end, here in not too distant future. But it's one of the kind of equalizers that those of us that are retail, we have data now that used to only be for the ultra wealthy that could pay to get the data. On-chain data, for the most part, is free. There's all kinds of websites we can go to and look at and see what's going on chain. But back to my point is institutions and banks and individuals don't want everybody to see what's going on, with our accounts. So projects like Canton Network have, and we've seen it with Zcash, with the way it's been pumping because of its privacy. They are built out so that siloed networks. So I'll use Bank of America and Wells Fargo as an example. They want to operate on the same rails because they want people to be able to send money from one bank to the other, or they don't want limitations on how they can send value. So they want to have the connectivity. They just don't want the visibility. So you can have siloed networks where people within that organization, if you call customer service, they can get into your account, they can see what's going on, they can help you, they can fix it, that kind of stuff within their organization. However, they don't want somebody at another bank or just some average Joe in his mom's basement with Cheeto fingers looking at everybody's account. So they want to have private networks like what Canton offers. And it's gonna be a requirement for this institutional. And it's kind of one of the reasons that another reason why I'm not that bullish on the XRPL, because it's public. Everybody can see what's going on with it. There needs to be a privacy layer. And we'll see here in a minute. There is some bullish Ripple news where they're making a lot of headways as far as becoming a bank. And I personally, this is in my opinion, I think that they are pushing more to become a financial institution than they are to be a cross-border payment solution. I think they gave up that ghost and they're moving in a different direction now. But we won't get bogged down on that.
Good to pivot. Well, and the privacy thing, you don't want people to see like how much you're getting paid, because if they see, oh, you get a transaction of $1,000 and from your employer, then you can figure out, oh, this person gets paid this much. Oh, maybe I work at that same company and I don't get paid as much, but I do more work. Stuff like that.
Your baby mama. You don't want your baby mama knowing what you're getting paid.
Or, I don't know if you guys are sports fans, but the head coach of Michigan football team just got fired for having some inappropriate relationships with one of the staffers, and he paid her like 50% more compared to last year. And it just came out. Oh, I'll cover this at the end, but this dude lost $13 million in a guaranteed contract because he got fired. All for some
shit.
And he has a wife and 3 kids.
That was some expensive tail that he that's a $13 million piece of tail.
Ooh. Oh.
So we got this Maro Newfall. Those of you that don't know, I've actually started becoming a guest on that pretty often. So if you want to check that out, but YouTube now allows users to receive their payouts in stable coins. So if you're, have a YouTube channel, You can choose to get paid out in stable coins now instead of US dollars. Granted, these are backed by US dollars, but this is just goes to show you that crypto is going mainstream. Institutions are fully adopting it. Governments are fully adopting it. Just retail's fully adopting it. We are moving forward. It's not if, it's when. And honestly, I think 2026 is going to be the year of DeFi and RWAs. It's gearing up for that. When was the last time you heard any other narrative? Watching YouTube videos, watching, the news, any kind of news that comes out about crypto. Have you heard anybody talk about gaming? Have you heard anybody talk about AI lately? As it pertains to crypto, all anybody's talking about is DeFi and RWAs and the future financial system. That's what everyone is talking about. These big conventions, people aren't in tie-dye shirts and shorts and flip-flops anymore. They're in suits and ties. They're institutions. It's not a bunch of retail running around in furry suits doing dances. It's serious business. Am I wrong?
No. And I mean, it's funny because that kind of goes back to the whole Plume goon cartoon thing.
Yeah.
You want it to be more serious and not, because people will look at a project and be like, that looks kind of hokey. So, and not look more into it. But yeah, you want it to be more professional and stuff.
Absolutely.
You don't want the Sam Bankman-Fried and the flip-flops and fucking Cheeto dust on your shirt.
Right. Well, here's some bullish Plume news. So you got Nest, the Nest protocol. It's on Plume Network. Nest, the RWA yield protocol by Plume, is opening up opportunities retail users previously couldn't touch. Those of you that don't know, there is tokenized commodities. There's tokenized treasuries. There's basically baskets of assets on Nest protocol that you can invest in. So you can invest in gold, you can invest in oil, you can invest in treasuries, bonds, things like that, all right now on Nest. Whereas a lot of these, you used to have to go through brokers and jump through all kinds of hoops and do wire transfers and call them and tell them what you want to do, and then you have to wait for them to actually execute the trade, and it was inefficient as shit with a bunch of intermediaries all taking their piece of the pie. So anytime you bought and sold, there was a ton of fees that you had to pay to do all these different things. Now you can just go on to these protocols like Nest on Plume. I've done it. I've gone on there and I've bought some of these tokenized RWAs, and I've also taken those. I'm earning yield on those, and I've done something called looping, where I can take those, I can take out a loan against them while I'm still earning. I can take out a loan against them, take that liquidity, and go and invest that somewhere else. And potentially, if I do it right, I could even just loop back and forth to where I could buy tokenized US treasuries. I can borrow against those, buy more of them, borrow against those, buy more, borrow against those, and buy more. And each time, it's less and less, but it's basically you're levering up. You're leveraging up your position so that maybe you start out with 10 grand, but when it's all said and done, maybe you have $16,000 worth of liquidity earning yield for you instead of just the 10,000. So these are the kinds of things that are so attractive, is that those of us in retail, we couldn't do this kind of thing before. So this is why I'm bullish.
The banks do.
What's that?
The banks do that. They take your money and lend it out over and over again and essentially loop it. But,
banks are scared. If you've been watching the news, you got Elizabeth Warren still, trying to do the bidding of the banks, and big pharma. You got, all these people that claim to be, the champions of the people and, anti-establishment, they're all getting millions of dollars from big pharma and, different banking institutions and, all that to do their bidding. And, all the while, they're trying to make it out to where, they're the good guys. I just fucking laugh.
Stupid.
But, what do we got here? 2025 is almost over. So how did we do? Year to date, Base has sent over $400 billion in DEX volume, and Aerodrome more than every other DEX on Base combined. And the best is yet to come. So yeah, Q2 2026 is when Velodrome and Aerodrome merge. A new token is launched and a ton of new functionality. I got like a semi-chub just thinking about what's coming. So
April,
yeah.
May, June. Mark it on your calendars.
Chainlink. We'll get into this here in a second, but the world's largest security settlement system, bringing tokenized assets on chain, marks a turning point for global finance. Congratulations to the DTCC on this major milestone. So this is from the official DTCC website. I'm going to go ahead and follow them too.
Pivotal moment for our industry and the future of digital markets. After years of industry experimentation with digital technology, I'm excited to let you know that DTCC has received a no action letter from the SEC. This letter authorizes us to develop and operate a new and voluntary service to tokenize assets held at DTC. This is a significant milestone for several reasons. First, our new tokenization service will serve as the bridge between TradFi and DeFi. Upon launch in the second half of 2026, we will support the tokenization of liquid assets, including the Russell 1000, ETFs tracking major indices, and other assets. Second, and importantly, we will offer the same investor protections and ownership rights as traditional book entry securities currently held in custody by DTC. In other words, we will provide digital assets the same care as we do traditional ones. And third, our new service will yield transformational benefits for industry participants and their underlying investors. These include greater collateral mobility, new trading modalities, and 24/7 access. We're excited to help innovate for the industry and to empower our participants and their clients to tokenize. In doing so, we will work collaboratively with the industry to create a safe, sound, and efficient market infrastructure for digital securities. Collaboration has been a cornerstone of DTCC since our founding more than 50 years ago, and I'm very proud to say that today's announcement will build upon our legacy of innovating for the global markets. It's one more example of how we serve our industry and how we will continue to do so for the next 50 years. While the new tokenization service is an important
I think that's good. I think the rest of it's just propaganda for their organization. But what's that?
What exactly does DTCC stand for?
It is shit.
It's a Digital Treasury Commission or something.
It's here. Let's just so I make sure I get this right. Let's freaking Google that shit. Come on, you can do it.
You can do it.
Is the DTCC. I want to make sure I get this acronym right. The Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation is a major American financial services company that serves as a critical post-trade market infrastructure provider for the global financial industry. Established in 1999, it operates as a holding company combining earlier entities like the Depository Trust Company and the National Securities Clearing Corporation, founded in 1976. It's owned and governed by the financial institutions it serves, including broker-dealers, banks, and asset managers. So this is basically all of the financial industry owns this. And this is the SEC basically told them, AKA the entire financial industry, that it's cool. Go ahead and tokenize everything. If it's already a security and it's tokenized, and then it's still a security. But if it's not a security and it's tokenized like real estate and you tokenize it, it's not a security. So it's just, if it's a security already and it gets tokenized, it stays a security. If it's not and it gets tokenized, it's not. And they're saying, you have our permission, go for it. So this is a major, major step forward, and Chainlink is going to be that interoperability.
Of
So
course.
I'm telling you, and we'll get into how each of them are tied together. Coinbase taps Chainlink.
Better try again. Thought this was a commercial. He had to skip.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's not a commercial. It sounded like it though. Coinbase taps Chainlink to expand wrapped assets like Coinbase wrapped Bitcoin and Coinbase wrapped XRP to new chains. So again, Chainlink being used for interoperability for Coinbase assets, Coinbase wrapped assets. Chainlink, ongoing work with some of the largest financial market infrastructures and institutions in the world. Chainlink's major banking and capital markets announcement. This is a huge part. Like I said, that DTCC, that's banks, clearinghouses. So that the clearinghouses have to do with stocks, the stock markets, things like that. So major freaking announcements. It says the SEC and Paul Atkins. Actually, let me freaking follow him too. Are leading the way and committed to modernizing U.S. financial markets so participants can benefit from the security and efficiency tokenization provides. We're committed to powering the infrastructure that brings the U.S. financial system on chain. As I told Maria Bartiromo last week, U.S. financial markets are poised to move on chain. Under my leadership, the SEC is prioritizing innovation and embracing new technologies to enable this on-chain future while continuing to protect investors. So down here's this DTC. Today, the Division of Trading and Markets issued a no action letter. That's what we just went over. You have on-chain markets will bring greater predictability, transparency, and efficiency for investors that through the DTC. Excuse me. Ooh.
Liz.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see what else, if there's anything else sexy in here. No, it doesn't look like it. But again, that's just echoing exactly what the DTCC said. Chainlink, the SEC, everybody's on the same page. Institutional smart contracts are data rich, interoperable, compliant, and privacy preserving. CRE is the only orchestration layer that unifies these capabilities, meeting institutional requirements. Bird's Eye Data explains in their latest report. So, this is just talking about, private blockchains, public blockchains, RWAs, and basically Chainlink's role in pretty much everything. A few exceptions, but pretty much everything is using Chainlink for interoperability.
Dude.
Solana, all in Bitcoin, details upgrades coming to flash trade perps powered by Magic Block, epiphermal rollups, whatever that is, commodities, metals, Forex, and equities coming soon. Order books on the horizons. This Solana is starting to really gear up. There's a bunch more alpha that more than I can get to about Solana, but they are really ramping things up when it comes to DeFi and RWAs. Like they are going to be a major, major player. Oro Gold announces ST Gold, the first yield primitive for gold that is compostable in Solana DeFi. So it looks like this is going to be like a staked gold to where you can hold gold and earn yield on it. And potentially in DeFi, you again could, potentially take a loan out on it and, and use that to, for other investments or to, do a down payment on a house, whatever you want to do. DeFi, if you have not learned about DeFi, it will literally change your life. Just if you have money sitting in the bank, please, please, please if you're not going to listen to our channel, there's plenty of channels out there that are teaching DeFi. Ours is just one of the most easy to understand because I like to keep things simple. I don't like to use big words. I don't like to try to make it sound like I'm super smart because I'm not. I'm just very determined and I love learning this stuff and I love teaching it. And I want to teach it in the simplest way possible. And the simplest way I can explain it is if you have money sitting in the bank, you are losing money to the tune of about 7% of its buying power per year. In DeFi, you can meet and exceed that depreciation of your cash by using it to earn. You can earn 7% if you simply put it on Coinbase and lend it out. Like right now, you can go put $10,000 on Coinbase, lend it out for 7%, and immediately start earning 7% on that 10% or that $10,000. It's that easy to stop losing money. I mean, how more simple do they have to make it?
It's not doing you any good to keep it in the bank. Oh, and the ephemeral rollups. So those are an attempt to get
effeminate rollups.
The feminine roll-up.
They have a feminine roll-up.
Not to be confused with fruit roll-ups, but
yes,
the ephemeral roll-ups are an attempt to get the cost and speed of a centralized sequencer with the security of Ethereum validators. So it makes most of the roll-ups data temporary and rely on real-time attestation or verification instead of offering proofs or challenges. So it's a little more efficient and dramatically reduce the need for fraud proofs. So a little better technology and streamlining layer 2 rollups. So yeah, interesting, because we don't see all this tech that goes into, or all the stuff, the bells and whistles that go into validating and sequencers and verifying and making sure that all this stuff isn't fraudulent, to like double spending with Bitcoin. And there's just so much that it's like way over my head and everyone else is like, what the fuck? But it's important, you know. The rails are definitely important, or else you're going to fly right off the tracks.
It's just there has to be rails to move the information, to move the value. Right here, you got Solana. I won't play it. It's 2.5 minutes, but it's basically they asked this guy from Solana in Galaxy why they chose Solana to tokenize stocks, and he's going into the why. Doesn't really matter why. It's fast, it's cheap, and they're doing it. Friends don't let friends have paper hands. You gotta make sure you have diamond hands. Make sure you're putting the bomb on the diamond hands. So basically my point of that is the reason I'm talking about all this is I watch on social media and chats all day long of people. They keep asking me and they keep asking Drew and other people, is this project dead? Is this project dead? Is Ondo dead? Is Plume dead? Is Aerodrome dead? The price is down. Everybody thinks that their project's dying. And I keep trying to tell people, price is a short-term outlook. If you are trading, look at price. If you're a day trader, scalp trader, absolutely. Price is important. Short-term price is important. If you are investing long-term in these projects, fundamentally, you shouldn't be watching price. You need to be watching if they're building, if they're growing, if they're being integrated, into different networks. If they are being made to be an integral part of the new financial system, as it pertains to DeFi and RWA, those are the projects that you want to be investing in. All of these little projects that are off on their own, you don't want to be investing in those. One of them, a couple of them might surprise us, but I am going with the more sure things. That's why I'm in Plume. That's why I'm in Ondo. That's why I'm in Aerodrome. That's why I'm in Morpho. That's why I'm in Solana. That's why I'm buying these projects. It's not because I think the tech is great, or I like the team, or anything like that. It's I'm watching how this is all being built. And if they are a part of that machine, that future financial machine, I'm investing in it because I want to profit from it. I mean, it's basic investing 101. Another major bank, another expansion of crypto as infrastructure, another sign the world is moving towards digital finance fast. Our partnership with Standard Charter scales global institutional access across trading, custody, staking, and lending. So, from trading to custody, this collaboration sets a new standard for secure and seamless access powered by our crypto as a service platform. This is the same thing we were talking about earlier with that other bank. This is basically Coinbase becoming the hub for banks, so far US banks, to be their custody, to custody their crypto assets for the bank's customers. So if you're part of Standard Charter, if you're part of that PNC bank, then and you have Bitcoin or Ethereum that you have deposited in that bank, is probably going to be custodied by Coinbase, and they are going to earn yield off of it. And you're potentially going to get some of that yield. So this is just part of what is being built and what's happening. I mean, have you seen anything like this, Jeff? Like with your bank or?
No, I have Chase, but I know, like you said, it was
JP
Bank
Morgan.
of America or
JP Morgan.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything on my account or anything, in the little sidebar that shows the different options that they have. Oh, is he frozen? I think Mike froze. Oh,
there we go.
I haven't seen anything that says like crypto offerings or anything yet. So I'm still waiting on that. But
we covered JP
like
Morgan. Well, we covered JP Morgan a minute ago, and Chase is part of JP Morgan. JP Morgan Chase.
Right. I like going to Bank of America, right? They're offering loans right now, but how do you access that? Like, what's the avenue to access that? Is it offered directly to everybody, or do you have to have a certain threshold of income or amount in your bank, or is it gated in any way?
I don't know. I don't bank with any of those. And if I wanted to, like personally, if I want to do any of that, I'm going directly to the protocol because I want to make sure that I'm earning the most possible. I don't want to have, part of my, yield being shaved off by the bank and by Coinbase and everybody else. But if you're somebody who doesn't want to take the time to learn DeFi and you want to earn yield, maybe not as much, but you just want that ease of being able to buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, and earn yield on it in your account, then you can do that. Honestly,
non-custodial. If you want, non-custodial. You don't want the bank
with the bank, it would be custodial.
Yeah. But you want the DeFi protocol stuff where you own it. You don't have to worry about the bank.
Oh,
me.
Like that. Yeah, me personally, because I know DeFi. Yes, I personally want to do non-custodial. But if you're depositing your Ethereum and your Bitcoin, or you're buying it through your bank, they are going to be the custody of it, and they're going to have Coinbase do that. So, the OCC, another government body, grants conditional approval to Ripple, BitGo, Fidelity Digital Assets, and Paxos to become national trust banks. This is what I'm talking about. Ripple is not making moves to do cross-border payments. That's not their sole focus anymore. They are moving to become a bank. A lot of the acquisitions, a lot of the XRP that they keep selling off for the billions, the tens of billions or hundreds of billions of dollars that they've cashed out. That's what they've done with the money, is they've been acquiring these companies that had a lot of the regulatory approvals already done. So because they acquired them, as long as they stay in compliance, they get those approvals. So it was basically a fast track to get to where they're obviously trying to get, is becoming becoming a bank. What happens when Wall Street meets blockchain? Real world assets get tokenized. Okay, I think we covered that one. Chainlink again. Galaxy is integrating Chainlink to power the first tokenized fund with 4+ trillion assets under management. The asset manager being State Street. Via Chainlink, again with Galaxy, leverages high secure cross-chain interoperability with real-time NAV reporting. So this is just Chainlink again, being the interoperability layer for yet more RWAs. I mean, I don't know how else to spell it out for you. People, looking at the price. What's that?
Beat, man. I mean, they're going to be hard to beat. What was it? What was the other one that was trying to compete with them?
Wormhole?
What was it?
Wormhole?
Wormhole. No, I just saw it earlier, but yeah, the other Oracle, they launched on Solana, but Chainlink was already so integrated in other blockchains. I mean, you can't, unless Oracles just get replaced by something else,
I mean, there is some projects coming out that have native interoperability, but
right?
Kita is one of them. I'm pretty sure Canton Network as well. But we'll get into that here in a second. But yeah, people will look at the chart. They'll look at price, and they'll see that Chainlink has been on a downward slide for quite some time. Since August of this year. Let's go to 1 week and see what it looks like. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people just look at this and they just see that it's just dumping. But, if you look at price, not that bullish. But if you look at pretty much the prices of everything, it's all doing this. But if you look at everybody that's using Chainlink, if you look at the integrations, the future financial system as it sits right now with the as big of a role that Chainlink has, it will not work. If Chainlink suddenly stopped working, it would be like Amazon Web Services going down. Remember what happened when Amazon Web Services, or I forget the other name of that company that nobody's ever heard of, but they went down and websites.
Not CrowdStrike, Cloudflare.
When Cloudflare went down, freaking websites everywhere weren't working. I don't know if everybody remembers that. Same thing with Chainlink. It's becoming integral to the future of finance.
Thank you, Stanley. Pith Network.
That's
what it was. Yes.
Yeah, and Pith has had its hurdles. I won't dive into that. It's just bullish for Canton. It's just talking about privacy and institutions. Stablecoin news. This is Sergey Nazarov, the founder of Chainlink. Excited to see that being the most secure cross-chain technology across DeFi and TradFi is attractive to top technical teams who do deep diligence and a security review. I also think that being able to provide real reliability for a bridge during cloud outages like Amazon Web Services. So this is what we were just talking about. So it looks like that that Chainlink, even if certain systems go down, that they would stay up. While other bridging systems go down for extended time periods, it's a large advantage when being considered by highly technical teams that want high uptime and reliable systems. I personally feel that all the security and reliability work that was put into CCIP is starting to pay off, which feels very familiar when Chainlink was chosen to power the top DeFi and TradFi systems with the most secure and reliable data. I think the consistent security and reliability properties of Chainlink will continue to make the choice of top teams and institutions in our industry. And this is, basically referencing their, partnership with Coinbase. And like we've been going over, Coinbase is becoming a massive hub for institutions, for custody, for their offerings, their tokenized offerings, just pretty much everything. So,
well, and that's a good thing to kind of touch on is if one system goes down, you have all these other options.
Redundancies.
Think of the Amazon Web Service. You have a centralized system where the servers are in a certain area, not necessarily spread throughout the world, as opposed to these oracles that, run on systems all around the world on a decentralized network. And if one system goes down, you have all these others that are still running, processing data and price feeds and information. Mm-hmm. So your uptime is just going to keep going. You'd have to shut down the whole grid to you'd have to launch EMPs all around the world to knock it out. So,
yep.
Oh, what's up? What up, Sky?
So
that's whose birthday it is. Her boyfriend. I am little.
Oh, okay. Well, happy birthday.
Shout out to homie.
Yep. So looks like there's Coinbase is going to allow you to stake your ETFs. So if you have a Bitcoin ETF, an Ethereum ETF, any ETF, it says that's right. Staking ETFs are here in the US, powered by Coinbase. So you can earn yield on an ETF and you can stake it and earn more yield.
What about 401ks?
That is the power of DeFi. Is you can because it's tokenized, it gives a lot more flexibility. So this is just the beginning. Coinbase investors can now get exposure to crypto, including staking rewards, through an investment vehicle they are familiar with. Crypto is getting more and more accessible. The largest institutional ETH staking provider, we're excited to continue working with issuers to help them offer staking ETFs. I mean, I could keep going with this. I mean, we're already hitting an hour and I'm just barely scratching the surface of this. But I definitely want to touch on some of this. So you can go through this and let's just count how many times, like I said, across the top, we got all the chains. Across the left, we have all the chains. Let's just go through here and see how many times we run across Chainlink. So we got Chainlink right here with Solana and Ethereum. So Chainlink and Wormhole for RWA bridging. You got Wormhole and Layer 0 with Plume and Ethereum. And also Base Network. We found a bunch of connections there. You got Wormhole for Avalanche and Ethereum. Canton is using Chainlink CCIP for RWA data and oracles. Circle USDCX for stablecoin interoperability. So there's two connections there. For Base, you got obviously, it's an Ethereum layer 2. So it's native rollups and direct flows. It's fully interoperable. Super chain alignment, inner L2 RWA yields between Base and Optimism. I'd be curious to see once Velodrome is integrated with Aerodrome, how that will affect this as well. Wormhole between Arbitrum and Base. Chainlink is between Solana and Base. I never heard Owl2 Finance for RWA bridging potential.
Alto. Yeah, okay. They're another bridge protocol.
Okay, yeah, that's the first time I've heard of them. Got Synapse and Wormhole. Looks like Canton again with Base, indirectly using Chainlink. Chainlink between Solana and Optimism. Chainlink between Canton and Optimism. A lot of wormholes. I'm seeing a lot of Wormhole too.
Interesting.
Solana and Plume. So they did a partnership recently, and Solana and Plume they're offering Nest Vaults, institutional RWAs. So that partnership between Plume and Solana, that was a big announcement with Plume. Again, Plume is growing. It's I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing them shrink yet. I did notice, however, and I called out the team on Ambient. It is the TVL on Ambient. If you have anything on Ambient, I personally would get it off. The TVL is scary low in those pools. So there's the risk that if you have a lot of liquidity on there, you might not be able to get it off. So yeah, that's something that you always want to keep an eye out when you're using newer platforms or smaller platforms, is making sure that you're not the last one to get out of a pool. Polygon, again, a lot of wormhole. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of wormhole.
Their token's cheap right now, 3 cents. 3.8.
Yeah. Looking at this, wormhole is another one that we might want to be dipping our toe in.
I actually used that bridge earlier today for this quest I was doing in one of my videos. Actually, I've used wormhole in the past quite a bit, and right now it was a lot faster. I mean, the website wasn't buggy, glitchy. It was super smooth. So I was very impressed.
Here we go. Bitcoin OS integrates Cardano for trustless BTC bridging, smart contract execution on Bitcoin mainnet, and interoperable tokens. EVM bridging testnet went live in July, making Cardano interoperable with Ethereum ecosystems and potentially Solana via shared bridges. So Cardano's trying to start to make a move to start ramping up its DeFi, which it needs to do. Charles, he's held his baby way too tight for way too long and kept anything from really building on it. So it's good to see that for all you Cardano holders out there, it's really good to see that they're starting to move on this, because they're an OG. They should be a lot further along than they are right now. Those of you that don't know, Charles was, didn't he help build Ethereum?
Yeah, he was one of the not
original
founders,
investors.
But founding, original team. But he left after 6 months, I think. So he didn't stay too long, but that was one of the first projects I was really bullish on, in 2017. When I was really starting to get into the space, and just seeing how it's gone, how the development and stuff has gone over the years, just slow, painful. Also, I think the Midnight token launched today officially. So yeah, it's just, man, seeing all this stuff, especially NFTs on Cardano, man, that really hurt my wallet years ago. So come on, Cardano.
Well, I mean, via Labs and Midnight, like you just said, December 2025, partnership enables direct cross-chain communication with 135 plus blockchains, including Ethereum, Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, and Plume, and non-EVM Solana. This supports RWA DeFi flows like yield generation and token swaps. And that's via Midnight. So, that's what you were just speaking on. XRP and RLUSD hints. Charles Hodgkinson, however you fucking pronounce that, outlines cross-ecosystem DeFi with XRP, including potential integrations for RWA and stablecoins. And this is what, if I was to choose something to be bullish about with the XRPL, it would be Ripple and RLUSD, not necessarily XRP. but it's just because of the data that I see and how, and what people's priority is when working with Ripple. It seems like it always has to do with RLUSD. And those of you that don't know, the majority, 80% of RLUSD is on Ethereum mainnet. So it doesn't even use XRP for gas. So that's why I don't see it as being overly bullish for XRP. And the fact that, RLUSD was even launched. Let's
swap
see
your
what
screen.
else.
I think you're on Wi-Fi.
What's that?
Are you on your screen? It's on Wi-Fi still, or did you swap? Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm reading through my notes. I don't figure everybody wants to watch me look at my notes.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I can actually, you know what? I can just switch it over to this. Let's go ahead and put the comments up. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Polygon and Avalanche. Add diversity with bridges like Synapse and Wormhole for DeFi RWA flows. We went over some of that. Canton Network, institutional L1 with 6 trillion plus in regulated RWAs, 400 billion in daily settlements, joined Chainlink Scale in September, launched Circle USDCX in December 4th for multi-chain stablecoin interoperability. Backed by Goldman Sachs, Circle Ventures. They raised almost $400 million. So Canton Network, another one. If you look at the price, let me pull up Canton real quick. I just want to drive this point home that looking at price is not how you invest in early technology.
Nope.
Yeah, look at this.
Then nobody would have invested in Amazon by looking at price early on.
So look at this chart. This is Canton Network. Since it launched, it's just been down and to the right. I mean, it launched back on 10 November, like 9-10 November. And looking at this chart, somebody would be like, is Canton Network dead? No, it's not dead. I mean, if you look at how much TVL, like if we go to rwa.xyz, one of my favorite websites, this is, cover your eyes. If there's kids in the room, this is data porn.
Well, and that's a fair launch, right? Compared to an actual
the team
airdrop.
They didn't do any airdrops. The team didn't keep any tokens. The VCs or early investors didn't get any of the tokens. All the tokens went out. So
that would have been down even further if that were the case.
One of the fairest launches that I've fucking seen. So as soon as it pops up here, I will show you. So Canton Network, it eclipses everything. So you have Canton Network with 8,841 different tokenized, offerings on it. If you add up everything else, like all other chains, it still doesn't even put a dent in what Canton has. If you look at the TVL, it's almost $400 billion. It's up 61% in the past 30 days. The rest of these, the closest one is Providence with 14 billion. It only has one RWA. But even Polygon is only 700 million. Ethereum is only 300 million. So again, if you add up everybody else, it's still nowhere near what Canton has. Canton is right now is the RWA king. No one even comes close. They have 95% market share. They are almost the entire RWA market. This is like the Bitcoin, how Bitcoin has the majority of the market cap in crypto. Canton is the Bitcoin of RWAs right now. And people keep asking me, is Canton a good project to buy or is Canton dead? Tell me. I mean, does this look like a dead project to you? $400 billion of TVL, over 61% growth in the past 30 days, 95.39% of the market share. This is not a dead project. They're just getting started. They just launched. Their mainnet just went live. Like, what was it, like a month ago?
Yeah, they were sneaky too. I mean, they came out of left field, man. They're just
No, yeah. They came in like a thief in the night. And same with Providence. But anyway, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. And this will be my closing thoughts because I don't want to keep everybody all night. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You need to look at data. You need to look at fundamentals and stay educated on your investments, because otherwise you're going to look at shit like this. And you're going to say, "Oh shit, Canton's dead. I better sell it." When all the while you have on-chain data that shows you it's anything but dead. It is a powerhouse. It's just that the price isn't, we're still in price discovery. The price hasn't figured out how much this project is worth yet, because the majority of people out there don't even know that blockchain technology is a thing, let alone the future of finance, let alone this quiet little project called Canton that, unless you know exactly where to go, you're not going to see this data. Institutions and big money, they want to keep this quiet as long as possible because they want to stack as much as they can. They want to finish building before everybody starts, rushing in and buying this stuff. It's why for years, Jamie Dimon and all them were talking about Bitcoin's a pet rock. If anybody in my company buys Bitcoin, I'll fire them. They've shown it. The whole time he was saying that, they were buying Bitcoin.
Yep.
You cannot, you have to look past price, and you have to look past what everyone is saying. Watch what they're doing. Watch where their money goes. Don't listen to what they say, because if you do, it's like a magician. Look at what this hand's doing. Don't pay attention to what this one's doing. That's what's going on right now. So, Jeff, take all the time you want, man. I'm going to sit back and sip my drink. I've talked your ear off and everyone else's ear off. I was just trying to get through as much of this as I could. We didn't even touch half of what I had to put out. But I hope this gives you an idea of these projects that we're always talking about. They're not dead. They're far from it. So go ahead, Jeff.
No, it's great. As opposed to just diving into one project, because there's so much to cover with what's going on and the regulatory stuff that is being rolled out and put in place. But I challenge all of you to go out this weekend, and whether you're doing your grocery shopping or talking to family, I know the holidays are coming up, so a lot of people are going to be spending time with family and friends. Just ask them, like, what do you know about crypto, blockchain technology, real world assets, and see how early we are to all of this. A lot of people won't have a fucking clue what RWA is and what it entails, and how you can take advantage of it. Like Mike was saying earlier, your ETFs, you can use to earn off of. You can stake them and earn rewards. And I'd be curious as to, if your 401k will be able to do that. The NFTs that we thought would be just JPEGs of monkeys and bananas and pet rocks are going to be actual real estate, like value, commodities, oil, gas, like all this shit. So see how early we are. And you think all these projects are dead even before we get to the starting blocks. So it's really something to just sit back and be patient, because this is going to take a long time to roll out and for retail to come in. But That's why Coinbase and the Base network are positioning themselves as the front runners in the retail side, especially because it's so easy to transfer from coin to your bank account from Coinbase to and from. Like I was able to transfer some money between Coinbase and my bank account, and it was in there the next day. Thousands of dollars. So it's without having to wait 3 to 5 business days and wondering if your money's going to come through and wire transfer fees. And I was able to do it with no fees at all. So it's really awesome because you won't have to be sitting around waiting for, your check to come in or what have you, or to be liquid. You have these assets that are sitting there and you need to be liquid, or you need to sell an asset for whatever reason, business, personal, having this stuff on chain and 24/7, man.
365. Doesn't matter if it's a holiday. Somebody can call you on Christmas Day, freaking when everybody's opening presents and be like, hey, I missed my flight. Can you send me, $500 so I can, get a ticket or a rental car or whatever. And you can be like, boop, boop, boop on your phone. If I can send them some USDC, from your, Coinbase account or your bank account to them, a couple of taps, they got it. And you go back to opening presents, they get their rental car, and I'll see you in a couple hours. It's, the bank doesn't have to be open. You don't need an ATM. It's your phone will be your ATM.
And I think somewhere in the UAE, one of their top gasoline or gas station companies is offering crypto payments at the pump. So think if your bank account, if you're low on funds or something, and you're like, oh, I need to borrow some money, you send me USDC, and you can fucking pay for that with your crypto, like USDC, instead of having to pay with it for Ethereum or Bitcoin. Because honestly, why would you want to spend your Bitcoin on shit like that anyways? You'd want USDC. Like, a lot of these networks are starting to move towards stablecoin payments for gas instead of Ethereum, which I'm all for, man. Let's use the stable coins.
Well, I mean, it just stable coins is the core, it's the foundation of everything. I mean, it's the bridge into, these RWAs and DeFi. It's because without stable coins, there's no way to really on ramp fiat.
No. So a lot of good stuff, man.
Well, and maybe we'll do a part 2 or something like that. But yeah, well, what are you sipping on anything, or am I drinking alone tonight?
No. So I was able to get a car yesterday, and I took it to my mechanic this morning, and he was supposed to give me a call this afternoon so I could come by and kind of walk through what needs to be done on it. Because I know that it needs some rear brakes and flush the brake fluid and shit, but he never called me, so I wasn't able to go out and get any. I was going to go pick up some tequila, man, but I wasn't able to go out. So brakes
are overrated.
Yeah, who needs them? I got big feet. I can step on the fucking...
just cut a hole in the floor, do the Flintstones. You can just downshift. They can slap it into reverse.
Oh shit, man! I don't need another transmission go out. Fuck.
Well, I know you got to get going. You got a birthday, but appreciate all of you out there for joining us with on our Friday night crypto and chill, and trying out the new software, and got the new intro. Trying to mix it up, trying to improve things for you all out there. So, hey, Johnny December, what up, brother? Down there in Central America, we need to go down and visit his ass so he can take us out fishing.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, you love getting in at the end, huh?
Yeah, he liked it at the end. All right. But well, I'm gonna hit end stream. You might get an outro video, you might not. But until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.